Yo, what's good in the web? Your man Q back again, and we have some exciting topics today. It's a lot of AI going on. We're gonna talk about the AI and everything else that happened in What If with Black Panther and the future of Black Panther, and could Killmonger be Black Panther? But first, we're gonna jump into artificial intelligence taking over, Skynet, the Geth, iRobot, but in real life. I thought this was a super interesting story because of all the things that are coming along right now with artificial intelligence. We got Tesla. I thought that was really funny that Elon Musk, the main person who was talking about not using AI or being codependent on AI and create the Cyberlink, which would help humans, which his theory is in order for us to combat the eventual takeover of artificial intelligence, which will be smarter than humans, because computers we're using now are literally smarter than us, even though we have to input things into it for it to do so. Yeah, if they can start thinking in themselves, it's gonna be the Geth type of situation. Not sure if he plays Mass Effect, but that's the analogy I'm using, because that's basically what he was saying. So when he made that whole Tesla bot a few weeks ago, or announced the Tesla bot, that's why I was like, all right, bruh, were you just saying that so you can initiate it, you and Bezos, like competing with space, competing with, I don't know why I was doing this, competing with space and competing with, is this gonna be like G Gundam, where you're gonna leave all the broke folks behind? Damn, I wanna see space. And let me just read the article real quick, at least the highlights of it. The UN is calling for a moratorium of an artificial intelligence system that pose serious risks to human rights until research and regulations have been done. It is published report today after concerns that the countries and businesses are adopting AI without proper diligence. Higher Commissioner for Human Rights Anne Michelle Bracelet said that the AI can force for good, but stressed that it can still have a profoundly negative and catastrophic effect used without consideration. So, Skynet, the Geth, we're gonna talk about that here in a minute. With Tony Stark's automatons and artificial intelligence, I do feel that this should have to go through some type of, it's not the FDA, but some kind of regulation that all artificial intelligence should go by. My personal opinion about artificial intelligence, I think that it's only inevitable that we're going to eventually get it. I don't believe that it should be hive mind. I've watched too many science fiction movies for not to know what's going to happen in the end. And I don't want my generation to be enslaved by robots like this is the Matrix. But yeah, the report analyzes the ways AI can affect human rights, including privacy, getting me looking at your hentai, health, and education, as well as freedom of movement and expression and assembly. Artificial intelligence now reaches into the utmost every corner of our physical and mental lives, and even emotional states, she writes. AI systems are used to determine who gets public services, decides who has a chance to be recruited for a job, and of course, they affect what information people see and can share online. The report also says that because of the rapid growth of finding out how AI collects, stores, and uses data, one of the most urgent human right questions is we face. Yeah, I read that wrong, but basically, the AI knows more about us than your spouse does. Think about that. I'm gonna say that again. Your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your Chinook, your lover, that person you with, AI literally now knows more about you than they do, because it's all your search, it's everything. It's all your search stuff. And I know a whole bunch of Luddites out there. I actually work with a homie who refused to have anything but a flip phone. because he said that things are going to, you know, be watching him. And I was dating somebody last year, and she was not into having Alexas because of the fact that they do know too much of your stuff. And it has been reported that those devices, I'm pointing to it behind me because she'll start going off, will actually start doing crazy stuff, or even it's been reports they said things or they think on their own. Y'all know me with Akasha, that follow me over on Twitch. My personal AI that I built, she has a mind of her own. She do what she want to do when she want to do it sometimes. And I have her just going through my voice commands. So the future is bright, but it also can be grim. I like to put it on this aspect because humans think that computers are the perfect creation. But nothing perfect can be created from something that's imperfect. And we as humans are imperfect creatures. So there's always going to be something. And like Matrix said, we don't want computers to realize that we are the virus. Let me say this. If you have not seen this episode of What If yet, I'm about to talk about some spoilers. So I'm going to give you... We about to talk about some spoilers. I really was excited so much for this one because I want to know, respectively, how Ryan Coogler and Kevin Feige are going to be able to bring this in. I mean, I was excited enough where I had to actually literally like write down a few bullet points of things that I want to see. And a lot of these things are gonna be out of order. So y'all gonna have to like forgive me a little bit because of my excitement last night. Like I had to actually go to sleep. One of the things I wanna point out is Shuri said something that made me really, really feel of the direction that we're going to be going, since we already know that Tony Stark in our generation, in our timeline, on the sacred timeline, he's gone.
How did you get this?
Mr. Stark was a genius, but he's not the only genius.
And actually, her intellect is up there with Tony Stark, and depending on the topic, could be greater than his was. So that also set up the page, which a lot of rumblings have been going on, and even in the MCU, which is setting up for Riri and was setting up for Black Panther 2, we see that since Iron Man is gone from the MCU now, that the Wakanda and Black Panther and Vibranium and all the technology when T'Challa opened it in 2016, when he opened up Wakanda to the rest of the world, is going to be playing a huge difference into painting this new world of the MCU. We still haven't got Reed Richards yet, which I kind of think that the Fantastic Four are going to take over the Avengers building. That's just my theory, but I'll talk about that at another time when that comes up, because that building is still vacant, at least in our timeline. Other thing that I want to talk about too is the death scene, which is probably the main thing, which is the death scene that happens between T'Challa and when Killmonger kills him, and T'Challa doesn't know who he is, which is interesting that he wouldn't, because I was wondering, I went back and watched that the second time, and I was like, did he say cousin too? But he didn't say cousin as well. I also like the little jab that T'Challa tells Rhodey. He says, hey Ghana, because a lot of black folks is from Ghana, the descendants is from Ghana. He's like, hey Ghana, ain't no beef with you, bruh. I just want to get my vibranium from my country and bounce. And through all of this, I don't want to see Black Panther die. I like T'Challa. From the mindset of Killmonger, again, it really makes you go back, and it goes back to my original point, what I was saying earlier. It really makes you go back and say, what Killmonger was really saying was right. Like he told Rhodey, and I'm not anti-United States, so stop. I'm not anti-military. Most of my folks in my family, military. No, I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is from the perspective from what Killmonger said, and it would be hypocritical for him to say that too, because he was a decorated soldier, but he used what he had to get what he wanted, if that makes sense. But he was right. He was putting so much things on for his oppressors. And I love the scene where after T'Challa was already dead and Killmonger finally got the syrup, he got that grape drink. He got that grape drink. I was on that grape drink turned me to Black Panther. I don't want to kill my family to get there. But he got that grape drink, and when he got that grape drink, what that did was is it gave him them abilities, and he went to the astral plane and talked to T'Challa, and T'Challa basically told him, you know what, bro? This is what's happening. You're going to have to pay for it one way or the other because you got what you wanted, but was it worth it? And then that's when it hit me when it came to the realism of what's happening outside of the movies after Chadwick's passing, how they could, within the timelines, bring Killmonger over, because maybe, this is just a theory, this ain't nothing, that's just a geek theory, that Killmonger could possibly come over through another timeline, maybe even that particular timeline, because as we know, the what ifs have the possibility to be in their canon, but they have the possibility to actually be expanded on in our timeline through the multiverse. So we might see a Killmonger or a variation of variation of Killmonger who wants to atone for the things that he's done because some untimely event may have happened in that timeline, which is our original timeline. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So basically what I'm saying is, because Chadwick passed away in real life, they're going to have to explain or have it where he dies in Black Panther 2, which is probably going to be in the first 10 minutes or so of the movie, I believe. And it's probably going to happen while he's in his suit, so we don't have to see. And then they do have voice clips and things and narration that he had already done for What If. And they probably got, a whole bunch of other stuff that he hadn't produced or done yet. And if that's the case, like I said, then we will be able to merge some of these timelines that maybe Eric Killmonger was going through and just wanted to tone, and then boom, that's how he became over to our timeline to redeem himself, because he died in that timeline, which is ours, and then T'Challa was could have been killed. I'm still not sure how they're gonna do with him and Namor, but they could do something like that, or another big bad enemy could be the one that kills him. We do know that Kevin Feige and Ryan Coogler both said that they're going to be very, very sensitive to and respectful to Chadwick's wife, his family, and to the millions and millions of fans and kids and people around the world, not just Black, but just all over the world, who were looking up to him and respected him as a person and as an actor and his role. This right here excited me the whole episode, because it gave us a take to see the Bachelor Tony Stark again. And I always liked the Bachelor Tony Stark, the alcoholic, lush, womanizing Tony Stark. And I understood why RDJ in real life didn't want to play that role as much. We don't see him really address the alcoholism and the different issues, the realism, the real crazy things that Tony Stark did within the story, because RDJ really had those problems in real life. So we were able to see multiple accounts of him as Iron Man on What If, and here on episode 6 as being, that felonious, crazy playboy who just befriends people and just throws his intellect and his money around everything. And speaking of that, I like the point right where Killmonger was about to kill Tony, and that's when he brought up the machines. And he's like, "Hey man, you ain't picked up you can't fight. You haven't picked up a weapon or picked up anything to hit anybody at all in your life." One of the quiet subtleties that they did during this whole part while Killmonger was fighting is they gave him the Wakanda drums and the theme while he was battling on each battle that he was doing, while he was fighting the robot and he killed Tony, and also when he jumped in to fight with the Wakandans in Wakanda against those said machines. So the way that they broke down the episode was really well. It was really a thought out plan by Killmonger, and I love the fact that they made him intelligent. Well, we knew he was smart from the movie, but they put an emphasis on his intelligence even more. And I mean, the dude did go to MIT, so that's really no surprise there.
Two gearhead orphans trying to do right by our fathers. We sound the same to me.
The difference between you and me that you can't see the difference between you and me.
I still feel, because I've heard that they aren't going to be recasting him, I still feel that we can see, just from this, Black Panther. My hopes are, if anyone is to reprise it, I feel that it should be Michael B. Jordan's character, and now this is giving me even more fuel to think about it. Woo! I'm sorry. I'm probably gonna go into more detail again, with a whole bunch of comic canon stuff and everything. But I wanted to get on here and just see how y'all felt and talk about it. What is y'all theories? What do you guys think that? Do you think that this Killmonger being Black Panther in this sets up the course for him to be Black Panther in the movie? Is just as a testing ground to see what's going to go down? Let me know in the comment section below. Click. I've been watching too much JoJo. My mouth is dry. If you did like this video, do me a favor and make sure you hit that like button. It actually helps a lot. If you give it a dislike, that actually helps a lot as well. And if you're new to my channel and you want to stay up to date with all things What If, anime and games and everything else in between, make sure you give me a subscribe. I also stream over on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and a bonus stream here on the tube. All the links in the description below, and they'll magically appear here. I know that was a lot. But y'all used to the drill. As always in the web, remember to eat, sleep, geek, repeat. I'll holler at you tomorrow. Peace.